Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Thanks for coming by today. It's that time of the week. Let's talk about the weekly reading update. Let's chat about what all I got into last week, shall we? Got like 4 things to talk about, so let's just dive right in. So here's some things that I finished over the past week. Walk the Darkness Down by John Boden. I loved this. This was excellent. So I picked it up. I was looking for something different. I had those couple of stinkers that from last week. If you watched that wrap up, or I just had 2 DNFs. Books I just was bleh, I didn't like, and so I pulled this one up. And yeah, this one got me back on track. This is a horror novel, but it's also a western. So it's a horror western. So I pulled it up kind of for Jen on the Range to pull in some western. But I'm a horror gal, so let's find a horror western. And John Boden honestly is an author that I have been wanting to read for several years now. I've heard nothing but good things about John Boden, and yeah. Everyone's right. John Boden's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about this book. So when we open up, like I said, it just takes place kind of in a sort of western setting, and I forget the year is I think mentioned in the beginning, but it's back yonder some ways and years, and we meet this sort of young boy in the beginning of the book, and he has this sort of overbearing grandfather, especially as it comes to like religion and things. And something happens, and he goes out to get some water, from the water bucket, and something kind of takes him over. And so we jump to some years later, and things are starting to happen, and around these, this community, and then like neighboring towns, and all throughout this area. And there's this sort of dark force making the rounds, and this kid who's now a grown man now, but is of course involved in this. Then we meet a couple of other characters who get kind of wrapped up in all of this darkness that is going on. One is through because his mother's house was burnt on fire, and he died. And there's another guy who is being chased down because he was thought to be the one that burnt down the house, and all this kind of stuff. And again, there's a little boy that comes into play, Jubal, who I really liked. He's a sweet character, but his life, like his mother's dead, and I don't know. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things happening in this book, but I never felt like overwhelmed or bogged down by characters or anything like that. Everything just slides into place as far as these characters. And at the end of the day, there's a sort of grandstand at the end of this sort of almost like a good versus evil sort of showdown, right? But it's these characters that, oh my gosh, they are just super interesting. Even though this is I guess it's probably like more of a novella. This is not super long at all. They're really fleshed out. The world itself is really fleshed out. You can feel the dryness of the air and all that kind of stuff of being in a western setting. There's even a character that is basically like a reverse werewolf, and who comes into play a little bit, who is super interesting. Yeah, it's just the writing though is what pulls me in. John Boden can write a sentence. You know what I mean? If you like really descriptive writing, but it's not too overbearing, but it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous writing, even when it's talking about really disgusting things. Give this one a go, because it was really good. It was really good, especially if you like bits of sort of religious horror, kind of horror brought in there. That might interest you. I'm not gonna say that. That would maybe kind of spoilery. There's layers to what's going on here, right? Our sort of baddie, or our bad guy is he's transforming essentially, and things that the description of what his body looks like and things like that is just, you get this visual and you're just like, oh man, so some definitely some body horror elements also. Yeah, it's just really freaking good, you guys. It really is. So I can't wait to read some more John Boden. Those got a few more things out there, and yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, I'm excited. Okay, Walk the Darkness Down by John Boden. I gave it 5 stars because I just devoured it and I loved it. Okay. Next up, I did finally finish. No, was this next up? No, I read Little Camp of Horrors by Stine. This is just a little middle grade book that I needed one more book for the Kelsey Corn, the readathon, the slasher readathon, and to get my corns. And I needed a book that was set at a summer camp. And so let me just find something kind of short to read. And so this is part of a little series. I forget the name of the series now, but it's like number 4 of a series. I do feel like I missed out a little bit on what was going on because not having jumped right into 4, but you kind of put 2 and 2 together. It's a middle grade book, But there's this kid who, his family has moved into this house, and I guess he can see ghosts. So there's these 2 ghost kids that also live in this house, and they are trying to, in this storyline with the camp, they're trying to find these ghost kids, ghost parents, and through circumstances, they have to go to this summer camp because the kid's brother gets involved and stuff like that. It just goes from there. It's a fun little middle grade book. It's an R.L. Stine book. We know where we're going to get into, right? It was fun. I maybe wouldn't read, others of the series because I like to see how this kid and these ghost kids, what's going on with them and what happened to them and stuff like that. So, but it was cute. And check my little box for reading a book that was set at a summer camp. And so I got my 2 corns. So I got one, like Kelsey, you read different books and then you got accessories for your corns. One was like a corn on the cob and one was a candy corn. And so I made my little corns. So here's one I'll put here. I made one that's kind of silly and with a mustache and everything. And then I made a more serious one, even though he still looks fun too. But it's the bowler hat. It's the bowler hat that makes it more serious. It gives me Clockwork Orange vibes. So I finished my corns. I had a really good time with that readathon, and as part of that readathon, what did we watch? She did a group watch of Prom Night 2, and that was a movie. That was a movie. Yeah, I had fun with that one. Anyway. So that readathon, I'm officially kind of done with the readathon, I think. Just because I had such a mixed bag with the slashers. I think it's just hard to find a good slasher book, honestly, So I'll be on the hunt for some good slashers. All right, so I went, that's not a word, whatever. I went right into some westerns after that to pick up some June on the Range stuff. Y'all know I've been reading or listening to the audiobook for Lonesome by Larry McMurtry, and I finally finished it. I spent days, full 6-7 hours a day listening to this book at work, and I finished it. And I just have such mixed feelings about this book. I knew I went in thinking I was going to love it, because everyone and their grandmother loves this book. On Goodreads, it has a 4.5 average rating, which means everyone and their grandmother loves this book. And I just knew I was going to love it. There were points along the way, though, that I was like, I don't know if I want to finish this book, But I stuck it out because I just really wanted to finish it because it is so big. It's like 1 million pages long, I think it was a 30-something hour audiobook. Really long one. But again, there are things about this book that I really did love. I really did. And there's some things about this book that just drove me nuts and I really didn't like. So I may do a little separate book chat just to kind of chat about my feelings about it. I think I will, actually, because I haven't done a little book chat in a while, and I think this kind of maybe deserves a bit more time spent on it than just a weekly wrap up. So look forward to that if you're interested in my thoughts on Lonesome Dove. Again, I just came away feeling 2 very different things at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. There's a nice big hawk, or not hawk, but a falcon circling outside the window. Okay, so then just recently I finished True Grit by Charles Portis. I loved this. I loved this. And this one I also knew I probably would love because everyone loves this one too. And this one, yeah, I also really loved. So what I recommend is the audiobook. If you can get the audiobook for this one, the one that is narrated by Donna Tartt, you know, the writer Donna Tartt, she does an excellent job narrating this book. I think I listened to it on Scribd, so if you've got Scribd, you can get it there. And this is a shorter one. It was like for something, you know, for between 4 and 5 hours long, so it's definitely a shorter book. And whoa, yeah, it was really good. And if you know about Trigger, if you've seen the movies, you kind of know the principle, but you know, we follow sort of a young girl named Maddie who is seeking revenge for the death of her father. You know, this man that used to work for them murdered her father, and so she strikes out, and she's trying to find a man with some grit to try to, you know, bring this man in so that he can, you know, pay for his crime. You know, of course, this is the Wild West, so she tracks down this sort of guy named, of course, Rooster Cogburn. And she and him and this other kind of Texas Ranger guy, they set out and they're out to look for this guy. And, you know, the story goes from there. And we know this story. They find him and all that good stuff. But it really is about these characters. And it's, you know, this little hunt, of course, for the bad guy. But Maddie, I am in love with Maddie. I absolutely loved her in this book. I think she's like 14-ish or so. But she is a spitfire and really strong-minded, really strong-willed, which, you know, this kind of time period was kind of like, girl, what you doing? I don't know who you think you are. And she was a child, you know, to top it all off. But she just knew what she wanted, and she's really smart. She had all her ducks in a row, and she's like, this is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to do for me, you know, all this kind of thing. And it was just wonderful. It really was. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's a classic, you know, by this time for a reason, and it's because it's really good, and I really enjoyed it. And the Donna Tartt narration, oh my gosh, was just excellent. A little bit of a southern, you know, edge to her voice. It was good. It was really good. So yeah, so I think that finishes up what I read this week. So, you know, that Lonesome Dove took me a long time, so, but 4 things a week, of course, that's really good. I'm not complaining at all. I did make a start on Lost Souls by Poppy C. Bright. I am buddy reading this with Kelly from Kelly Hooked on Books. I'm up to chapter 5. I'm already really enjoying it, and I don't know, Poppy C. Bright, I'm just a fan, so I'm really enjoying this one already. This is a vampire story, so, and also a rock and roll story. I won't say much now, but I'm loving it so far. And yeah, so that's kind of in process. I don't think I've got anything else in progress right now. Once I finished True Grit on audio, I didn't pick up anything else on audio. So I caught up on a lot of YouTube watching this week. Also catching up on my buddy's booktube videos and all that good stuff. So I'm not caught up, but I'm somewhat kind of caught up on booktube videos now. That's kind of my week. Yeah. So other than that, what else I've been getting into? Not too much. I did watch a couple more episodes of All of Us Are Dead, you know, the zombie show that I started watching back in May. It's just really good. I'm really loving it. It's so tense. I'm just kind of on the edge of my seat. Really enjoying that. And the new 80s album came out yesterday. That has been on repeat. It is amazing. It is an awesome album. 80s. Nobody does it like 80s. Ain't nobody doing it. I love 80s. I think that's about it. Yeah. So I hope you're doing well. Let me know what you've been reading and watching and all that good stuff. Let me know what you've been into this last week. I'd love to know. And thanks for watching. You know, I always appreciate your time. I really do. It really means a lot. And that's it for me. Nice and short and sweet wrap up this week. So until next time, friends.